Welcome back to Rob's Home Bar, guys. Today we are making 3 variations to the Irish coffee. Stick around. So we've done the Irish coffee many times. It's one of my personal favorites, especially on a cold day, nice hot coffee with that warm whiskey and the cold cream on top. Oh my God, it's so good. I've also done the Spanish coffee. If you remember, I almost blew up my house with that one. So click that link and check out that video. But now we're gonna do 3 other variations. They're a little more complex, a little more ingredients than just coffee, whiskey, cream. But some of them look fantastic. We're gonna do 3. I'm gonna taste after each of them because as opposed to tasting all at the end, mainly because you can't really let a drink like that sit around because the cream eventually does kind of seep into the coffee. So if you want the full experience of drinking it like through the cream, you gotta drink it right away. So we're gonna go make the first one. We'll come back here, we'll taste, and we got 3 of them to go. All right, stick around. All right, so the first thing we need to do is make a fresh pot of coffee. I love this Breville maker. It's a coffee maker. It grinds its own beans and you get to set the intensity of the coffee. Of course, I like it nice and strong, but make some fresh coffee any way you would like. The first one here, we're gonna be using some Irish whiskey. We also have a cold brew Jägermeister. This is the Blind Abbot, or at least my version. I found this one online, really liked it. The first thing we need to do in all of these drinks is scorch the mug. So we're basically pouring some hot water into the mug, letting it sit so that the actual glass comes up to temperature. It's the same idea as chilling your glass when you're making a cold cocktail. This one starts with 1.5 ounces of Irish whiskey. I'm using Jameson Black Barrel. It's probably one of my favorite Jameson bottles. Very nice. If you can find the Black Barrel, I recommend it. All right, the next one here, technically the recipe called for Galliano Ristretto. I can't find that. If you can find it, get it. But apparently it's a coffee liqueur and it has a bit of an anise flavor to it, so I'm told. So I figured why not use the Jägermeister because that also has that kind of herbal anise. Might be a little more, but we're gonna use it anyways. Use any coffee liqueur you have, should work fine. Next up, we have 1/2 ounce of cinnamon syrup. We're gonna do a couple dashes of Angostura Bitters. There we go. So this is just basically building on the classic Irish coffee, adding a bit more flavor to it. Next up, we've got our hot coffee, of course. You want to leave about 1/2 inch of space at the top because the next ingredient, of course, is the whipped cream, lightly whipped cream. You could use it straight out of a canister or bottle, but I find that's too thick. You can't really drink through it. So this is a bit thick, but what I like to do is just lightly whip some cream and then let it float on top. We're gonna do a dusting of cinnamon for the garnish. All right, let's taste the Blind Abbot. So I was worried at first that the Jägermeister would be too strong, but I guess it's been a while since I've had the Jaeger cold brew, and yeah, it's mainly coffee. You get a little hint of herbal and anise, but it's still mainly the Irish coffee, the Irish whiskey and the coffee, and that cinnamon adds a little nice note. Oh, that's delicious. I recommend this one for sure. Let's do the next one. All right, for this next one here, we're basically making a tiki version of a Irish coffee. This is the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean. So we're starting with some rum, obviously. This is a tiki-inspired drink. 1.5 ounces of aged Demerara rum. I'm using Dorado 12. Can't get much better than that. All right, after that, we're bringing back the cinnamon syrup. We used it in the last drink. We're gonna use it again. 1/2 ounce of cinnamon syrup. I mean, cinnamon and coffee, right? Just works. The next ingredient is Don's Spices number 2. If you're familiar with Don the Beachcomber, he loves his weird spice mixes. This one is literally just equal parts Allspice Dram and vanilla syrup. So we need 1/2 ounce of it, so I'm gonna do 1/4 ounce of Allspice Dram, follow that up with 1/4 ounce of vanilla syrup. And that's your Don's Spices number 2. Next up, 1/4 ounce of Falernum. So as you can see here, using lots of classic tiki ingredients to make this drink. Okay, next up, we gotta add the coffee. What I like about these is that you really want the coffee to still be the star of the show. This is a coffee drink, after all. Okay, next up we have some Tiki whipped cream. Now, this is really exciting. Basically, just whipped cream, heavy cream, add some sugar, add a little bit of Allspice Dram, and then whip it up, and you've got your Tiki infused whipped cream. We're gonna grate some nutmeg on top of there, and there's our drink. All right, here we are tasting the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean. Long name, but basically a tiki version of an Irish coffee. Holy crap. That's incredible. That cream alone, that tiki whipped cream, which is basically just regular whipped cream with a little bit of Allspice Dram. I think I'm going to start doing that all the time for like Irish coffees or anything. That's amazing. And the rest of it, it's just, it's not overpowering. Like I don't think I would use a stronger rum, like a funky rum, like Smith & Cross, don't do that. A rich, sugary rum like ED12, Demerara rum, that's perfect because it's nice and rich. It complements the coffee. It doesn't get in the way. This is still very much a coffee drink, but you get all those spices from that you like in a classic tiki drink, like the falernum, the allspice, the cinnamon. Everything's there, but it's complementing the coffee. This is still very much a coffee drink. Wow, this might be. Oh, it's close to being better than an Irish coffee. I love Irish coffee. Nothing beats an Irish coffee, but see, the Irish coffee kind of wins still because of its simplicity. It's just coffee. It's just whiskey, sugar, coffee. This, there's a lot more to it, but wow, is it ever good. All right, let's make the last one. All right, for our last one here, we've got the spicy Mexican coffee. So we've got some añejo tequila. We've got some ancho chili liqueur. Let's get cracking. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces of añejo tequila. I'm using the Terramon añejo. It's not my favorite for sipping, but it works great in cocktails. So don't use like a really expensive añejo here. Okay, next up, ancho chili liqueur. I'm using the ancho liqueur here, not the poblano. I haven't tried it, but I just, my instinct was that that smoky dried chili flavor would pair better with coffee than a fresh poblano pepper. That's me. 1/2 ounce of agave syrup. This is diluted agave syrup, so it's not that like thick stuff right out of the bottle. It's diluted, so if you're using the thick agave, maybe go 1/4 ounce. Finally, 2 dashes of mole bitters. So this is going to give us a little extra spice as well as a hint of chocolate. So I think it's going to pair really nicely in this drink. All right, adding the coffee. And then we've got our lightly whipped cream once again. You want to add some tiki cream here like the last one? I think that'd be a pretty good idea. That stuff was incredible. All right, and now we're going to grate some chocolate on top. These garnishes are pretty interchangeable. If I wanted to do a different one for each, but whatever you want. I figure the chocolate would work nicely with the tequila here. All right, the spicy Mexican coffee. It's already starting to separate on this one. Let's give it a try. I like that. I made, a while ago, I made, I think it was last year when I made hot cocktails, and check out that video later. I made one of these kind of Irish coffee style cocktails using tequila. There was no added kind of sugar sweetener to it, and it was kind of dull. This is really good. So the tequila plays really nicely with the coffee. It works really well with the coffee. The Ancho Reyes adds a nice flavor. I don't want to say it's spicy. It's not. I'm not getting much spice off this. Maybe there's not enough. I could maybe actually bump it up to like 3/4 or even a full ounce of Ancho Reyes. And then the chocolate, the mole bitters give it a little chocolate flavor. There's chocolate shavings on top. Everything really plays really nicely together. This is really good. All three of these. Okay, yeah, on the second sip, I think I got a little bit more of the spice. It's still not like a spicy drink. I'm not gonna be running for water after this, but got a little more tingle on that one. Oh my God, all three of these. So there it is, guys. We did 3 Irish coffee variations. We've got the Blind Abbot, which is basically just a twist on an Irish coffee, still using Irish whiskey. We've got the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean, which is like a tiki Irish coffee. That one was probably my favorite. Absolutely amazing. And then finally, the spicy Mexican coffee, which has tequila and chili liqueur. But yeah, definitely I recommend all 3 of these. If you like Irish coffee, if you like coffee cocktails, and you're a fan of Irish coffee, Spanish coffee, give these 3 a try. They're really, really good. They'll stand up there on par with the Irish coffee, with the Spanish coffee. Great additions to your repertoire of coffee cocktails. Hope you enjoyed that, guys, and we will see you next time. Cheers.